know we can do this together because I know this. There's nothing beyond our capacity.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. Uman is checking in. Get your comments down below. We've got a lot to talk about. Ukraine has carried out their first strike inside Russian territory using U.S. manufactured and provided long-range missiles. I'll tell you what, we have some big trouble. Russia is saying that they shot down all of them but one, and that one they didn't shoot down was damaged and didn't do anything. On the other hand, there is evidence out there that there are strikes hitting. Russia allegedly has responded that there is going to be a nuclear retaliation. I don't know if I believe that because sources are murky. Not trusting the sources yet. I don't want fear porn. I do want everyone prepared, though. I do. Now, understand, I think that this is all part of a Democrat deep state plan, and that Joe Biden is suffering from incapacity. Okay, look, we have a World War III alert. NATO and the United States are committing an act of war against Russia. Joe Biden is committing an act of war without congressional declaration of war. That is not just an impeachable offense. If one American dies, and people are dying right now, right? I just, if America is attacked, I call this a treasonous act by Biden. But I'll tell you what, I see past this. I see past this because the Republicans are trying to do either a bill of impeachment to remove the president, which is not how it works. I've never heard of that in my life. A bill of impeachment? No, you got to do an impeachment, and then the Senate has to try the person, and then they have to vote to remove them. They can, however, do a 25th Amendment move in response to what appears to be an incoherent, fucking incompetent, insane move in just allowing Ukraine to use our weapons to fire into Russia intentionally. In other words, you could say he's crazy, he's insane, he's lost his mind. Oh, but and get this, if they were to do that, if they were to say, hey, this was an unconstitutional act of war, you're acting way outside the scope of your authority, attacking a sovereign nation with our weapons by giving them to a confirmed fucking miniature homosexual lunatic. Well, if they remove Biden, whether through some magical impeachment, he resigns in disgrace, or they 25th Amendment him, guess what happens? Kamala Harris becomes president. Trump becomes 46. And still, it's not like she gets to be president for 4 years and start the clock over. That's not how that works. But she does get to claim she's the first female president. So I don't know. I mean, obviously we know what the worst case scenario here is that nuclear weapons are incoming somewhere in response to this. There's 3 nations largely responsible: France and England, who joined the United States government in Washington, D.C., Joe Biden. They're the ones that said, that's fine, go ahead and do that. They want World War III. They want a war. They think that's going to fix their power struggle, their woke agenda, their DEI, right? Their critical race theory, their new world order. They think that's going to get them what they want. When I said scorched earth, folks, Democrats don't like to give up power. They'll do anything to keep it. That's fucking nuclear weapons will scorch the living shit out of stuff. Now, since we spoke yesterday, it's now been confirmed that not one, but two undersea communications lines between, let's see, Sweden, Denmark, Germany, Finland, Lithuania, Baltic states, in other words, have been cut. They're trying to blame a Chinese freight tanker for doing it. I didn't know freight tankers cut communications lines, but who these days, folks, who knows? They're begging for fucking war right now. You know, Biden is incomprehensibly deranged by all appearances. Kamala is incomprehensibly deranged. Allegedly, her husband is filed for divorce. Right? Right? Dougie, the woman hitter. Doug Emhoff, who likes to bitch slap women around. Yeah, whoops. We have a lot going on, folks. Are you prepared? Do you have food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense? Do you have your plan? Do you have potassium iodide in case of nuclear attack? Do you have NBC masks, right? Gas masks and filters to change? Do you have what you need in case we're attacked? I'm not saying it's going to happen, folks. I'm saying the potential. I haven't seen this type of potential for nuclear war fucking ever. Ever. Crazy as fuck. Okay, well, let's continue. Let's continue. I have an unsubstantiated report that a vehicle hit and exploded. Was in Sevastopol, and it was some big shot military guy. I don't know if it was real or not, but something blew up. I don't know where it was at, but it could have been there. They're pushing for this, folks. Why? Because they're scared to death. They're scared to death. I'm going to leave that as it is. It's a completely developing issue. If you guys want to talk about it, put it in your question down below. Now, let's go to Washington, D.C. In the House of Representatives, Speaker Mike Johnson nailed the left. Is he trying to earn points with us? Is he pissed off at liberals? Folks, the culture war in Washington, D.C. is real, and that's where the fight now is. Nancy Mace has said that she wants protection from screwball men pretending to be women, that only biological women are to be allowed in women's bathrooms. Well, the question came up to Speaker Johnson, what's a woman? And he dropped a truth bomb on him. He's not going to play fucking games. He said, let me be unequivocally clear. A man is a man, and a woman is a woman, and a man cannot be a woman. That is off the hooks good. Literally. Now, let me tell you what Nancy Mace has done. She introduced, right, banning men from using women's bathrooms on Capitol Hill. And she got attacked, and she responded savagely. The woke lefties are losing their minds. They're losing their minds. She says only women in women's bathrooms, right? And this was in response to a transgender fruitcake man who was elected in the state of Delaware to be a congressperson, a congressman. But he thinks he's a woman. Thinks. Understand that, folks. Pretending to be a woman doesn't make you a woman. Now, so there was a shot taken at Nancy Mace on in response on X. William Earl Burns, douche. He clearly directed his comments at, he claims that Mace clearly directed her comments at the incoming congressman pretending to be Congresswoman McBride. Clearly directed at Congresswoman McBride. So Nancy Mace said, yes, and then some. Biological men do not have any rights to women's private spaces. It's perverted to think otherwise. So Nancy calls them out for what they are, perverted freaks. They're freaks. They're trying to change the meanings of words. They're trying to erase moral lines, reality. They're intellectual perverts as well as sexual perverts. So when she said that, right, it's perverted to think otherwise. The whacked out liberals are responding, folks. Here's a quote from one. Nancy Mace is a disgusting transphobe and a bigot. I'm going to stop right there. A transphobe. I would be, look, transphobe means fearful of trans people. Well, you should be, because they're mass murderers. They kill Christians. They kill children. They kill family members. They kill friends. They kill complete strangers. They kill their gay homosexual partners. Transphobes are dangerous, and we ought to be fearful of them. As far as being a bigot, the fuck is a bigot? Anytime anyone says something, you can just go, you're a bigot. I'm a big what? You're a bigot, John. Bigot. I'm a big what? Yeah, I'm big. Thank you much. Now, let me go back to this quote from Whacked Out Liberal. Nancy Mace is a disgusting transphobe and a bigot. This should surprise no one. Well, then why are you even stating it, you fuckhead? But calling out the representative elect by name unprovoked is putting her life in danger and raises this to a whole other level. Representative elect. Who gives a fuck whether you're elect or you've been already there? In fact, every congressperson is congressperson elect. Every 2 fucking years, every last one of them has to be reelected. Who cares? And calling him out by name unprovoked. Unprovoked. Okay. And how does that, putting her life in it? Why is Nancy Mace bad for wanting only real women in the bathroom with her? Real women in the bathroom. Let me tell you what one crazy transgender fruitcake. This is how she was threatened, right? Nancy Mace was threatened by a transgender who said he, because it's a guy, has a dick. He says he wants to grab her hair, drag her face to the floor, bash her head in, and kill her. Why is Nancy Mace the bigot and the transphobe? Well, she's a transphobe because she's been threatened with death. She has every right to be fearful of these freaks. As far as being a bigot, I'd rather be a bigot, I guess, than a cold-blooded fucking murdering piece of shit fruitcake. Grab her hair, drag her face to the floor, bash her head in, and kill her. Don't worry, folks. The corrupt FBI is not going to investigate, arrest, or protect Nancy Mace from violent, radical, transgender, homosexual, LGBTQ, left-wing Democrats. They're not going to help anybody. That's not what the FBI does. What they do is they arrest Biden and Kamala's political opponents. That's what the FBI does. Unfucking believable, right? How is a so-called unprovoked demand for privacy from perverted, mentally unstable men, how does that create a threat to the life of the congressman-elect? Oh, the fight is on, folks, right? It's a full-on culture war, folks. And I know we're sick of freaks acting like they have moral superiority. And the fact that we have to accept them. We don't have to accept shit from them. I don't have to accept their story, their lies, their bullshit, their claims. I don't have to accept any of it. And the fact that I refuse to accept their mental illness as reality doesn't make me a bigot or anything of the sort. It makes me a realist. Just try and pull that shit with me. Anyone, I will smear your makeup. Your tears will smear your makeup because you will feel very bad when you meet me. I've had it with these fucking people, and I've had it with these Washington elites, these Davos douches, right? The Illuminati. Let's just call them what they are. They think they're elites, better than us. They want to start World War III with Russia. I pray that Putin keeps his head calm and realizes Trump doesn't want this. And the reason they're trying it is because Trump is going to take over and end their little war. I do not want my kids, my family, your family, any of us to have to go fight a war because Joe Biden was ordered to give Ukraine permission. He was ordered. This is their last fucking ditch effort, folks. But they've got more. I mean, I call it a last ditch effort. Scorched earth. Scorched earth. That's what they're all about, folks. Scorched earth. It's not just a culture war. It's not just a war of morality. It's not just a nuclear war, folks. It is a religious war. Today, this afternoon, pro-Palestinians did a flash mob inside the Senate building in Washington, D.C. And they were there to violently snivel like little bitches. I call this an insurrection. They're attempting to take over the government. And I think Pelosi ordered it because she has been promoting the idea. Same with Ilhan Omar and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. All of these radical leftists, the Jihad Squad, have been promoting and supporting and encouraging these pro-Palestinians. And now they're committing insurrection by taking over the Senate building. Okay, arrests are going to start any second now. Where's the FBI? Oh, wait. This is helping the Democrats somehow. Somehow. It's going on, folks. It is on. The stupid is out. It is. It's completely out. I mean, we've all been listening and learning about the Bucks County Commissioner, who's a Democrat, who openly bragged publicly about violating a court order, violating a law, and counting illegal ballots. Well, this stupid bitch is now panicking. She claimed her statement was taken out of context. Really? It was taken out of context. Well, there are huge calls to lock her ass up, and rightly so. And as far as I'm concerned, what an out-of-touch, retarded braggart of a Democrat. As if she didn't realize what she was saying wouldn't be heard everywhere with social media today. She needs jail time, a fine, and then she can just kiss all of our asses. She needs to be arrested along with the rest of the commissioners. Right? She's one commissioner. There's other commissioners. She can't do it all on her own. They need to throw out all those ballots. A Republican has won the Senate seat in Pennsylvania. It's fucking over. It's over. Jail time for all of them. Jail time for Biden for what I consider to be literally treason. Period. And they need to take trans men who think they're women. Men are men, women are women, and men cannot be women. You can cut your dick off. You can put some titties in a bra. You can pie your face with makeup and pretend you're a woman, but pretending doesn't make it real. Pretending doesn't make it real. That's where they fucking go wrong with everything else. You can cut your dick off. You're not a woman. You can have some titties. You're not a woman. You can put on makeup. You're not a woman. You can wear a dress. You're not a woman. You're a man. Pretending to be a woman. It is a psychological disorder if you believe you're a woman. Good God. Let me give you some more stupid. The war that is on, folks. The war that is on. These retarded left-wing socialists think they're going to crash the economy, the Trump economy. They're going to do everything they can to stop Trump. You know how they're going to do that? Because they're not going to spend any money once he's in the office. Once he's president, they're going to punish the world, all of these people, right? As if liberal morons are going to quit spending money, these small potatoes money that they get from their parents. They're not going to spend money They're not going to go to McDonald's. They're not going to buy vapes. They're not going to buy hair dye. They're not going to get tattoos and face piercings. They're going to stop spending money, and that's going to punish Trump. I'm glad that they took Economics 101 in kindergarten, because they don't seem to understand that they're going to eat food. Someone's going to buy the food, and that's going to pay for the economy. They're going to need clothes at some point. You can recycle your clothes. You can buy used clothes. You're still buying. You're still doing stuff. You're going to turn on a light switch. That's money going into the economy. You're going to drink some water, something to drink. That's the economy. If you save your money, you bunch of liberal fucktards, and put it in a bank, the bank is going to turn around, take that money, and send it to Wall Street as an investment. It goes into the economy. They're that fucking stupid. But just in case you didn't realize it, they're that fucking stupid, folks. They really are. What's on your mind? What did you see? What is going on that is, well, pissing you off? Pissing you off. Well, I've talked about, let's see, international war, domestic bullshit, stuff in Congress, fruitcakes, and dumbass kids. How about this? The press itself. The press itself. Mainstream media gets its news stories from Reuters, Associated Press, and other news gathering agencies. But the big ones is Reuters and Associated Press. Well, get this, communist crap producing, biased to the left Associated Press. Guess what? They are announcing staff layoffs and buyouts, meaning they're getting bought up. See, we don't need the Associated Press any longer. I mean, really, what do? They just go, official sources say. Well, why can't official sources just go in front of microphones like they do all the time anyways? We don't need the AP. We don't need Reuters. We have people like you and me on the ground everywhere. Something happens, you go film it, you do a news story, kablam. Nobody needs the AP any longer. They are a politicized disgrace anyways. Fuck them. It's up and down, folks. Up and down the line. Now here, Trump is going on the offensive. I'm pretty sure, or at least I'm hoping that Trump is somehow in contact with Putin, Russia, if not directly, indirectly. And I hope he's letting him know, stay calm. Vlad, go get a fucking scotch. No, go get a vodka and relax. But Trump is taking action domestically. He is being reported to be personally calling each Republican senator and urging them to confirm Matt Gaetz as Attorney General. I think this is a smart move. I really do. He's not begging them. He's urging them. How do you urge someone to do something? You tell them why you think it's important. You tell them why the American people think it's important. You tell them what it's going to do for them as a senator. And then there's a negative side. If you don't do this, this is what I will think of you. If you don't do this, this is what the American people will think of you. And if you don't do this, I'm going to do bad things to you with the authority I have. That authority, withholding money on their next election. Pulling funding from the next election. There you have it. You see senators sit in there for 6 years and think everyone forgets who they are and what they've done. But I think Trump is pretty smart with this. Each senator now has personal time with Trump. A personal relationship has been started, whether they like him or not. Each senator has a chance to individually accept or reject Trump. Do you think any of them are going to talk trash directly to Trump? Do you think any of them are going to voice their objections to Trump? I would hope so. Voice your objection. Tell us why you don't want him there. Let's hear it, right? Do you think any of them are just going to kiss Trump's ass and tell him anything he wants and then do what they want? Oh, I bet there's going to be a lot of that. But each senator has a chance to individually accept or reject Trump personally. They don't need to hide behind a vote. They don't need to hide behind the media, which is itself disgraced. And I guess they could hide behind Michelle Obama's jockstrap. We all know that that's large enough to hide a lot of these fucking cowards. And if they tell Trump yes, and then change their vote, they are politically ruined by Trump, by us, by social media, everywhere. They're politically ruined if they don't have integrity. And I think that's what Trump is going after them. He's going to remind them they're supposed to have integrity. He's going to remind them they have a job. Now, on the other hand, they'll be reminded, right? Trump says this, they'll be reminded by their handlers, by their masters, people with control files. We own you. Trump's going to say, we want you to do the right thing. They, the FBI, the CIA, the bankers, whoever owns them is going to say, we own you. You will not. There's going to be a lot of hair pulling, screeching. By the time we're done with this, folks, there's going to be a fucking mess on the floor. I am personally enjoying this a lot. I sent some messages to some people I know, and they're sitting on the couch eating popcorn. Not much else we can do, folks. Not much else we can do. Let me back up a little bit on the Pennsylvania Senate race. I want you to know that the Pennsylvania governor, Josh Shapiro, who was shit on by Kamala Harris when she did not select him, he is calling on Democrats to stop counting votes. In other words, stop trying to steal the Senate seat. Folks, the Democrats never quit. So if they're telling him to stop now, there is a reason. There is a reason. It's because they can't win. They can't cheat enough. And they've been caught cheating. And it has now gotten national exposure. The Supreme Court of Pennsylvania is involved. And if the Senate does not have to seat a new senator if they think that that person is cheated, violated rules, right? The Senate doesn't have to allow someone who's been elected in, right? It's quite an interesting rule. Each of the houses, each of the legislatures, the House of Representatives and the Senate, get to fully determine who does and doesn't get to serve. I think that's a surprising rule that's within the United States Constitution. Once again, this little book right here says if the Senate or Congress doesn't like, they can just throw someone out. Basically, they can impeach their own members. And that's happened in the past. They got rid of Congressman Shitstain from New York, who was a Republican, who then exposed them as having orgies and sex cages in Congress. They got rid of James Traficant, who was a Democrat that they didn't like because he was exposing corruption. That was a couple decades ago. They can kick out whoever they want. Bet you didn't know that. Or if you did, you didn't think about it lately. It's a fucking shit show in D.C. It's an absolute shit show. And before I turn this over to you guys and your questions, get your comments down below, please. I have a World War III update. Be a prepper. Well, folks, Sweden, the country of Sweden, has sent out 5 million copies of Be a Prepper, telling their people, get prepared. Stockpile food, prepare for nuclear war, what you need to do. Well, I thought preppers were conspiracy theorists. I thought preppers were paranoid idiots. I thought preppers were right-wing fascists. I suppose now we're going to reconsider how bad it is or how good it is to be a prepper, since nuclear weapons are now being threatened to be used. I sure hope everyone is learning a fucking lesson here. Insane people, folks, run this world. Cooler heads are the ones that keep us from going to war and destroying everything. Insanity, folks. Insanity. A dementia-riddled, dementia-addled mind in Biden. He was just told. Did Obama tell him? Did Hillary tell him? You let Zelensky launch those weapons we gave him. And we'll help with satellite imagery and, aiming them and all that. But you launch weapons, Mr. Zelensky, into Russia, and everything will be fine. Zelensky needs to be arrested and tried for stupidity. He needs to be tried for risking the rest of the world, our lives, our families, our health, everything. He is risking everything. This little bullshit, no-name fucking homosexual dictator in Ukraine. He's not an American. He is not a member of the European Union. He's not a member of NATO. He is an installed CIA dictator in Ukraine who authorized his military to kill Russian civilians for years and years until Putin finally said no more. He has a Nazi military, literally a Nazi battalion. These are fucking Nazis. And we're the bad ones. He's compromised. He's a homosexual. He's compromised. Right off the bat. It doesn't have the stigma or the sting it used to, but it still matters. They're still owned. Pisses me off. I'll tell you what, folks. Let's do it. Let us switch on over to the inner circle and your questions. Is there any doubt? Is there any doubt that people like Uman, Kaz, Vaughn, Jolene, me, that we're crazy, that we're the dumb ones, that we're whacked out of our minds? Is there any doubt? Look at what these fucking people are doing. And we're crazy. Look at what these fruitcakes are doing to children, to government institutions, to our military, and we're the crazy ones. Look what they're doing to our country, our southern border, our monetary system, and we're the crazy ones. Look at all the wealth being stolen and transferred away from people, and we're the bad guys, huh? The world could be lit up with, I don't know, 1, 2, a dozen nuclear weapons, 2 dozen nuclear weapons, and we're the bad guys. Unbelievable. All right, Mr. Uman, let's get into some of the questions, shall we? Let's see what people want to talk about. Mikey G says, government integrity is like military intelligence. It is an oxymoron, meaning it contradicts itself. Government integrity, military intelligence, liberal morals. Right. Socialist economics. Yeah, it is an oxymoron. Nice observation, Mr. Mikey G. And remember, you guys are allowed to make observations, ask questions, make predictions about the future, look back at the past, anything you want to talk about. If you are on the preparedmind.club or subscribestar.com, you can be here live Monday through Friday. Today is Tuesday. Is it going to be a Taco Tuesday or a Nuclear Tuesday? We're going to find out, folks. Is Putin going to stay his hand? Make it so, Almighty God? Jeez. Or, right, is he going to let him fly? I think if the first person that needs to be nuked, if there's going to be a response, should be Zelensky. Because Zelensky is the one within Ukraine who has launched missiles and killed Russian civilians, killed Russian government, killed infrastructure, The next person or group of people that should be targeted are the leaders, and only the leaders who made the decisions allowing Ukraine and providing Ukraine with said weapons that killed Russian civilians, Russian government, and Russian infrastructure. That really does, folks, include London, Paris, and Washington, D.C. You want to start a fucking war? You get to be the target. Not me, not my kids, not my grandson, not my grandsons, not my great-grandkids. They have done nothing to deserve any of this shit. I would say my parents haven't done anything either, but I'm down to just my mother. God bless her. She doesn't deserve to live in this world with all this shit going on. You know, she should be able to go out and garden and do what little old ladies do. Little old 5'11" ladies. Anyways, here we are. Good golly. Ooman, who is next? We want to talk about, and Ooman says nuclear tacos. We're going to Taco Bell after the show. Nuclear tacos. I tell you what, the glow-in-the-dark tacos, that could happen here. I know I'm making light of it, folks. But right now, sitting in the bunker, no worries. That could all change in just a fucking microsecond. Lights could go out. Could be a flash. Folks, it's not just nuclear weapons. An EMP weapon is a nuclear weapon. What if Putin just blacked out Ukraine with a giant fucking EMP and blacked out Germany, blacked out Poland, France, Austria, Switzerland, Scandinavia, the UK? What if they just blacked them out with EMPs? Those are nuclear, but hey, everyone's alive until they starve or die from disease or fucking Muslim uprising. No. Okay, thank you. It's a giant fucking mess, folks. It is. It really is a giant mess. How do we get through this? Let me give you the roadmap. Putin doesn't do anything. He realizes that he's being baited into this, and Putin and Russia sacrifice their pride, their dignity, their sovereignty, and allow themselves to be punched by a midget homosexual fruitcake of a leader in Ukraine. They don't respond. Number two, Trump comes in and he's like, that's it. We're done with this shit. No more. Ukraine, sign on the dotted fucking line. Three, we all start acting like fucking adults, at least our nations, and knock this shit off. I think that Trump could go over there and say, look, not only are you going to sign the peace treaty, but you're going to pay for all the shit that you guys stole. And the United States takes from Zelensky all the billions of dollars that he's hiding in all of his accounts. Same with all of his oligarchs over in Ukraine. I don't want to punish the Ukraine people by taking all the wealth out of the country to pay us back, but there needs to be a hell of a punishment for Zelensky and his military and his government and everyone that supported him. The same way Hitler, who was also a fascist Nazi. That's what Ukraine is, folks. It's fascist and Nazi. All of Hitler's generals, admirals, officers were tried. Many executed. A lot went to prison. Period. And the ones that escaped, they were rounded up, they were captured, they were hunted, all the way down into Argentina even. What a mess. All right, Ooman, who's up next on the Prepared Mind channel? It's Ooman. He's up next. He says, with all the calls from everywhere calling for impeaching the potato, we might get President Camel Toes yet. And Trump will be 45, 48. Think of all the merch that will need to be reprinted. I tell you what, they're not collector's items, right? 40 was Reagan. 45 was Trump. But yeah, Uman says, not so sure putting that dumb biatch in there for the next 2 months won't be worse. Well, that's just it. You know, why would they be removing Biden? For dementia? Or because he demonstrated that he is not in control of himself? Or he demonstrated that his decision-making is so bad that he's got to be out of his fucking mind, giving a small, petite, homosexual dictator who was put in by the CIA because they did a coup d'etat in 2014. Right? So to bring Kamala in, they're going to risk World War III and then just say, oh, we just did that just to get Kamala in. Take a bow, Kamala, and get the fuck out of the way. 2 months. So their plan, in my opinion, would have to include a little more than just getting Joe to step aside and bringing Kamala up so she could stand up there and be presidential for 2 months. Why would she deserve that? Her staff hates her. She hates her staff. She quit paying her staff. She was given $1 billion, the most ever, to run a campaign, and she ended up spending it all like a drunk sailor and going in debt even, like a drunk sailor with a credit card. Nobody likes her. Nobody believed her. She is a fucking plant. She is a Manchurian candidate of retardedly epic proportions. She is a prostitute beyond all comprehension. Literally. So putting her in the president's office, it wouldn't be just so she could say she was the president. There's got to be more to the plan than that. And I'm not going to be naive and go, oh, they just want to make her the president. Oh, so we do that by bombing a fucking sovereign nation with nuclear weapons? Not a good idea. Not smart. Not smart at all. So I think there's something more to this. And I agree with you, man. Putting that dumb biatch in there, it could be worse. Because you said not so sure putting her in there would be that. I don't know. I think that they could have alternative plans. Why go through the exercise is my question. And so I'll be looking for those answers. I wish it was just that simple. Well, we just want to get her in there. Joe could have just resigned. He could just say, you know what? I'm tired. My butt hurts. Tired of crapping my pants in public. Tired of being ignored by the world. Tired of being mistreated. Well, he could say whatever the fuck he wants and just resign. Why put us in the precarious position of being a nuclear weapons target? Joe Biden will go down at this time as the worst president in the United States of America's history. I think he is even worse now than Abraham Lincoln, who caused an incredible amount of Americans to die because he wouldn't stop what was being done by, get this, foreign banking cartels interfering in our government and our country. Except there were no nuclear weapons back then. Good God. Okay. Ooh, man, who's up next? It's Mr. Diving Frog. He says, John, I got a good one for you. I watched a Dutch government official admit that the COOF, meaning cerveza bug, COVID, the COOF was a military operation, and they were following orders from, drum roll, NATO. Why am I not surprised? I was actually surprised that they said NATO was responsible. I'm surprised that because I heard this as well. Governments are now saying this was a military operation. It was done intentionally. It's all coming out in mainstream media, folks. And who is mainstream? You are. You're mainstream. I'm mainstream. We are all now the mainstream media. No one's watching the actual CNN, ABC, Fox. It's very small part of the world, folks. Very small. We are much, much, much bigger as the media. And it's coming out and it's being spread. Governments around the world, including Japan, are admitting that this was done intentionally, that the Jim Jones juice has been around for years before Cerveza bug. They've been testing it for years before Cerveza bug. And you know what they said? Let me give you an idea. No animal that was ever injected with the Jim Jones juice lived longer than 5 years. Every last one of them that was injected with the real Cerveza bug, Jim Jones juice, didn't last 5 years. Now, so what's the solution there? Detox your body. Detox it. If you took it, you think you took it, you think you've been tricked, detox your body. It is going to fuck you up, right? That's the best you can do. It's the best any of us can do, right? But it was a military operation. The governments of the world were following orders, like this Dutch government. We're just following orders. Oh, yeah, you and the fucking Nazis, you and the communists, just killing everybody, just following orders. And I even saw a fucking media hit piece the other day, Mr. Frog, a media hit piece blaming you all, blaming us, saying we didn't do enough. We didn't fight hard enough to tell the government, no, we're not taking your gym. It's our fault. It's your fault that we didn't fight and make enough noise and convince our families and friends and coworkers and businesses we worked for and the governments. We let the government tell us what to do instead of us telling the government. It's our fault. It is the unvaccinated who are to blame for the vaccinated getting vaccinated. It's my body, my choice. We didn't do enough, apparently, to take their choice away from them. They fell for the government's lie. So the government is now off the hook. Yeah, well, we just said take it. It was up to the non-vaccinated, unvaccinated, unwilling to be vaccinated people to stop it. Unfucking believable. No, they don't want to take responsibility for themselves. These fucking yo-yos. Every last one of them. Yo-yos. If, and I mean if, and I hope it's an if, people don't keel over and that cancer doesn't go off the fucking rails and diabetes and every other fucking horrifying disease that's being associated with these spike proteins, let's just pray that people can live with whatever disabilities and debilitating conditions develop. But I strongly recommend detoxing. There are ways to detox. They're out there. I don't know how successful they are. I don't know if they really work. I do know that there's a detox you can give autistic kids that clears them right up. Because apparently it scours the metals that's short-circuiting their brains. I mean, what do I know? I'm not a doctor. I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy. Drum roll. Get prepared. Get prepared. I gotta talk about this one. Everyone knows about Judge Ergadon, that little shit stain, and that little schmalzy piece of shit. Everyone knows about who's that other judge? She's a complete idiot. She's got a horrible name. Chutkin. Judge Chutkin. Moron. Wanted to just, go after Trump. Well, get this. Judge Merchan. That's right. Judge Juan Merchan has now adjourned. We're adjourned. We're done. President Trump's November 26th sentencing date. The sentencing date has been adjourned. All done. Right, Judge Merchan? right? Dismissed. No reason given. Zip, zilch, nada, done. The captain has abandoned the ship in terms of admiralty, right? There's no captain at the helm. The court has been abandoned. The judge is left. There is no case. Isn't that just fucking interesting? And no reason given. I wonder what the fuck he thinks and where the hell he thinks he's going. Does he think he's not going to be held accountable? And what was his crime, folks? Judge Merchant, as well as Judge Chutkin and Judge Ergadon and Fat Ass Fanny and Letitia James and Alvin Bragg and every other lying fuckhead Democrat working at the behest of Merrick Garland, George Soros, Barack and Michelle, Bill and Hillary, Nancy and Paul, Chuck and whoever the fuck Chuck is married to. Judge Merchant interfered with the election. It was a political prosecution aimed at what? Smearing President Trump. Trying to smear his good name, his record, everything about him. It was a fucking personal attack and interfering with the political election of the President of the United States. He better run far and fast, and he better fucking hide. Because I think he needs to be investigated and arrested and held accountable, along with every other one of these left-wing lying fucksticks. Uman, who's up next? And it's Uman. And this is interesting. Wow. Suddenly, Italian Prime Minister Meloni, who wants Italy, by the way, she wants it to be sovereign and free of all these invading un-Italian Muslim pieces of shit that keep getting dropped off on the shores of Italy and Sicily to invade their country, break their laws, steal their wealth, rape their women, assault people, etc., etc., etc. Italian Prime Minister Meloni says Italy does not support President Biden's decision to allow Ukraine to strike inside Russia. Interesting, is it not? Very interesting. It's good to see there's some independent thinking. I'm probably sure Viktor Orban of Hungary said, no, not a good move. I don't support it. I'm pretty sure Mr. Fico in Slovakia doesn't support that. Sending missiles into fucking Russia. The United States government in Washington, D.C. is smearing the reputation of the United States of America. We all know it's just D.C. We all know it's just the politicians. We all know it's not Trump. It's the Democrats and the fucking rhinos and the rats. And the rest of the world hates them. They used and weaponized our money and the trade system called SWIFT, which is like a world credit card. When you do business, you trade money and use the SWIFT. It's their bank. The international national bank system, right, for nations to use. They use that as a weapon. So Russia said, fuck you. We'll start this thing called BRICS with China, Brazil, India, South Africa, and now a couple other dozen countries representing over half, probably more like 2/3 to 3/4 of the world's population are part of BRICS. And now we're going to attack another sovereign nation. Unfucking believable. The world may trust Trump, but they're not going to want to trust the fact that eventually he won't be president again. It is a temporary reprieve from banking cartel stupidity. Right? The banks, the banks are blaming governments, by the way, for our failed currencies, our collapsing economies. They're blaming the governments. But it's the banks folks like the Federal Reserve Bank for the United States of America, the European Central Bank for them. The banks are the ones that created this system that needs to be dismantled, by the way, in the Fed. Audit the Fed. Audit Fort Knox and find out how much fucking gold we actually have. Find out, has it been leased? Has it been sold? Where the fuck is it? And we need a monetary system that isn't subject to 2% theft of all of our wealth. All right. Uman says we got a couple more and we're under the 5-minute whistle. Woo! Who's up next, Uman? We've got bump, ba-da-dump, bump. Name redacted. And he says, ain't it interesting that the hands pushing the P-man all have beachfront property that puts them close to the underwater adversary, the Bears Navy? Well, they do like that beachfront property. They really do. Whether we're talking about Barack Hussein Obama or Nancy Pelosi's got beachfront property on both coasts practically. I mean, she's so close to the coast in California that they can lob a missile out of a sub. And so that's what Name Redacted is referring to as the underwater adversary, the Russian Bears Navy. And Russia's Navy is comprised mostly of nuclear submarines, many of which are boomers. They fire nuclear missiles. Right? A lot of, I mean, I'm sure they have their hunter-killer attack subs, but they also have just nuclear weapons barges that are submarines. Watch The Hunt for Red October, folks. There's a good chance they're sitting offshore very close. I'm sure they've learned to fit hypersonic missiles into the nuclear weapons silos of submarines. I'm sure they've tested it. It is interesting. It's interesting to say the least and scary as fuck. Scary as fuck, I'll tell you what. Thank you. And Uman, we got one more here, and then I'd love to scour the news real quick. Uman says, Tom Homan, who is going to be the in charge of the border and the northern border and the east, west, and the water border and the air border. Tom Homan was on Fox News warning mayors and governors. Here's his quote. Review Title 8, United States Code, Section 1324. It's a felony to harbor illegal aliens. Do not cross that line. Yeah, that's pretty important. In other words, if you harbor criminals, you are now a federal felon, and you will be going to jail and then get a trial and a sentence and then go to jail some more. I think it's fucking hilarious. These people are doing what's known as virtue signaling. Don't you worry, you bunch of illegals. We'll protect you. No. You go over to Governor, I almost said DeSantis, Governor Gruesome Newsom and go, okay, pal, we have felons who have crossed the international border. That gives the federal government jurisdiction to come in specifically and only for the sole purpose of getting the illegals and getting them the fuck out. And if any state officer or office interferes, then they can be arrested for violating 8 U.S.C. 1324. Whoops-a-daisy. Fucking try it. We need arrests, folks, everywhere. From voting commissioners and judges to ballot counters and stuffers to fucking voting machine fraudsters to U.S. mail carrying lying sacks of shit over to people who want to have sanctuary cities. It just sounds so pretty, doesn't it? Sorry, no sanctuary cities or states. In the military, in our schools, in school boards, all these fruitcakes everywhere need to get their fucking heads on their shoulders straight. And I don't think they can. I don't think they can. I think they're that fucking stupid. I have no doubts that they're that stupid. Folks, show's over. I'll be back 0 dark 30 tomorrow, provided I have good reception. I'll see you then. Get prepared in all seriousness. Get prepared now because chance favors the prepared mind.